Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video that's gonna mark the 8-year anniversary of my very first upload on YouTube. I've been here for 8 years. I am super excited to be sharing this little get ready with me, just diving into memories, what I think about the future, all the accomplishments that I've had. Not necessarily a walk down memory road, but maybe just me sharing what's been going on over these 8 years and how I feel about YouTube now versus what I thought I'd be feeling about YouTube, because I did not think I'll be here for 8 years. So I will be doing my makeup today with things that I am in the process of reviewing, like this Fenty stick, but I don't think I will be talking about the makeup at all in this episode. So if you are interested in any of these things, I would say check the description box. I will try and link everything there in case I forget something. I don't know, let me know, but I will do my very best to link everything in the description box. I just want to talk about my YouTube journey. I am pre-filming this video just a little bit, of course, because the day that this video is going live is the day that marks my 8-year anniversary of me uploading my very first video to YouTube. And that was a video I had no idea that video was gonna do as good as it did, or that it was gonna spark me wanting to continue doing this. But I uploaded a H&M Beauty haul just as H&M was like revamping their makeup selection, and my video got 30,000 views. My first video. I went in with 0 subscribers. I did not tell any of my friends and family, well, except my then husband, that I was gonna do YouTube. I just uploaded a video and I was like, this is fun, because everybody was telling me nobody's gonna watch your first video anyways, which is most times true, but I got really lucky because I didn't realize that H&M Beauty was launching in Sweden first, because H&M is Swedish, and I was able to get a hold of the things before everyone else, and my video was the only video about H&M Beauty on YouTube in English. So of course I got a lot of views from people that were interested about the range, and I did not think that was the way it was going to be. So I will say, for me, I got monetized directly on YouTube, and I know some people ask me like, how do you get monetized? I got lucky with my first video doing as good as it did, so I got monetized instantly. And when that happened, I remember thinking, oh, this is how people get paid. Because I had no idea. That's not the reason why I started my channel. I just wanted to find friends, find people to talk to. I was kind of lonely, if I'm gonna be honest, and also I was then married to my now ex-husband, and I wasn't super happy in my marriage either. I kind of knew from the beginning that this wasn't meant to be, that the writing was on the wall. So I just felt like I needed something for me, something else, something different. And I've always been loving makeup, so I kind of knew that I wanted to do something with that. And when I realized, I was working part-time as a freelancing makeup artist at the time, and when I realized that I could do something on social media with makeup, which I had no idea about, I jumped at the opportunity because I was like, I'm not afraid of speaking in front of people. I've always been that person. You know, we all have that coworker that's always the one giving the presentations, that's always the one talking in front of the crowd, that's me. That has always been me. I am not afraid of talking in front of people. It's literally probably my biggest strength when it comes to like work, is that I am not afraid of talking to people. I'm not afraid of talking in front of a big group or anything like that. So that of course helped me a lot with my decision of starting a YouTube channel, because I wasn't worried about like, oh, is this going to be awkward, because I didn't care about that. And of course, like with time, it's been 8 years. My first video is still up. I have privated some videos, but it's less than 10 videos. And it's only because I've changed my mind about something so drastically that I don't want that still up on my channel, out of respect for, well, a lot of people, to be honest. I want what's on YouTube. I want to be somewhat proud of it. And like sometimes opinions change, and I've taken those videos private, but my first video is still up. If you want to see how my most awkward self, because of course it was a little awkward, because when I filmed that video, I didn't know how to edit. I sat down and I filmed on a camera that I had with no viewfinder, so I didn't really know if I was filming or not. Like now I have a viewfinder, like a big computer screen here in front of me that like I can see if I'm in focus, I can see if I'm filming, all of that. I did not have that the first, honestly, 2 years of doing YouTube, and it took me a while to buy a new camera, let's just put it like that. And when I filmed, I didn't know how to edit. So I literally, when I had filmed the video, I googled, how do you edit a YouTube video? Free editing software. And I still have a PC. I've always had a PC. I'm a gamer. At that time, I was playing World of Warcraft as well. There's no way I was doing a Mac. Like, one does not simply. Let me just put it like that. So I was just finding Windows Movie Maker. Is it called that even? And I was editing on that for a really long time. I want to say 2 years maybe, before my now husband bought me as a gift the editing software that I'm actually still using. And I'm not like really good at editing, but I've gotten better at it, and I've definitely started to enjoy it more. I know in the beginning I really didn't like it, but it's also because I wasn't good at it. And I know for me, I enjoy things that I'm really good at, and I kind of despise things I'm not, which I think is like common for a lot of people. Let me see what kind of questions I had, because I did ask you on the Instagram, which is usually when I ask for questions like this, of like when I do Q&As or when I do stuff like that, it's always on Instagram. So let me see what kind of questions you had. This one is interesting. What would you like younger Angie to have known starting out? Well, probably starting out, maybe I would have loved to know a little bit more about that this is actually a job for people, because like it would have changed maybe, or maybe not, like maybe it was a good thing that I didn't know, but like with time I've definitely realized that a lot of people just do things on YouTube for clicks, for views, for money. And I think it would have been good for me going in knowing that that happens, so that I wasn't so surprised when it did. Because there's definitely been instances where I'm like, I've seen people say and do things where I'm like, well, this isn't true though, or like see people super exaggerate things. Oh my god, I cannot get this one open sesame, that it just made me like, huh, okay. Or like the way that they've been acting behind the scenes or talking about stuff to me, and the way they've been acting like on cameras also made me realize that like, oh, some people are really just saying stuff that like makes sense in the moment, but it doesn't necessarily need to be true. And I think that that's like something that, I mean, when I came into YouTube, there were some like really big names, of course, like Carly Bible, Jackie Aina, like there was a bunch of like big Jacqueline Hill that were like the people that got a lot of views. And so many people were like, oh, I mean, they still do. The bigger YouTubers, they always lie, blah, 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 blah. But I have noticed that it's not about the size. It is definitely about the type of person you are, because I have met quite a lot of smaller YouTubers that will say and do anything for a paycheck. And I don't think that it has to do with the amount of subscribers you have. It has to do about like your personality, like the kind of person you are. And I've definitely met different kinds of people throughout my time on YouTube. What is your favorite upload you have ever done? Oh, that is so interesting. Wait, let me get a brush. In a way, my favorite upload that I've ever done is every time that I've announced like a collab or me announcing Cinch. Is probably because, I mean, it's so much work goes into doing something like that. I've been working on Cinch longer than, of course, than any other collab, and there'll be so much more work going into that because like I was the one doing everything, and also like my own personal money was invested in it. Like I put a big chunk of me and my husband's personal savings into Cinch. So of course it was like really nerve-wracking launching it and being like, what if people hate it? I mean, I knew that I was releasing good brushes, but what if nobody else agreed? What if nobody thought so as well? And now after having such a good launch as I'm having, as I'm filming this, I'm actually so low on stock on my brushes. that I'm gonna have to like restock soon, which is also super exciting. And since the first launch went so well, I've also been able to like reinvest money into future collections. I'm actually working on 5 things. I am. That is so crazy. How did I become this cool person? Oh my god, I'm getting emotional. I never thought that I would be the person to be able to do something like this. And this also why I'm like, no, I never wanted to start something like that. I'm not the kind of person that is like, but I am. I am an entrepreneur. I'm good at this. And it feels so exciting to be able to work on these projects and be able to like be the one deciding everything. I'm just so thrilled and excited to be able to just do something totally by myself. So yeah, my cinch reveal video is probably the one that was like the most fun. But I also will say, one of the videos that was the most, 2 of the videos that was the most liberating to do was my video that was like why I quit my full-time job to do YouTube, because I had so many thoughts around that. And like I quit my job because I couldn't continue my job when we were moving abroad. Like it was just not possible. I couldn't do it. But still, like I've seen the notions on YouTube in the comments of people being like, nobody is like a good YouTuber anymore when they're doing it full time, even though I will say I have never been a better reviewer than now that I can actually like really devote myself to it 100%. But I also like one of the videos that also made me us moving to Texas, because it was something that we had been planning for such a long time. We had been working on it for such a long time. So it's just so liberating to finally be able to talk about it, because it just had been in the works for so long. And I was just so excited to finally be able to talk about it, because it was just such a big thing. Because like there's no way that I would have been able to move across the world without like letting you know that like, hey, this is going on basically. So yeah, it was just super exciting to finally reveal those things and talk about those things and just be like, this is what's going on. Because like it was in a way almost like me getting it off my chest, even though like was it like, it's not like I owe anyone anything, but it was nice to talk about it. But I also will say, as a tip, if you are not a YouTuber and if you're thinking about it or starting social media, if you do not want to be criticized online, well, first of all, don't grow on social media, because the bigger you get, the meaner people get, because they think that like the more detached you become from being like a normal person, and somehow people think that like bigger YouTubers, the more success you get, the more you are allowed to like criticize absolutely everything about them. But also like the more you share about yourself, the more fuel you give people to just be honestly mean to you. Because I've heard so many things about me and my character being questioned about stuff that's honestly ridiculous and sometimes like straight up made up. So yeah, that's a little fascinating. I'm gonna do my brows and a lip liner. And let's see what else we got. Oh, I like this question a lot. What things in the beauty community actually changed for the better? I love this so much because I feel like we're always talking about like things were better before. There are a lot of things that was definitely better now than they were before. The main thing I would say, as something that I noticed with being on YouTube for a longer time, and how beautiful is this gloss. These glosses by Kaleidos, they really went and did something. They're so nice. The rest of the collection, don't love it, but the glosses, they are so beautiful. So the main thing I would say of like things that I think have changed for the better is that the community is so much more diversified right now. There are so many more different voices within the beauty community that are being heard. And also, back in the day, 2015, I started 2015, but 2015, 16, 17, it really was, remember in like fashion, when we talked about the era of the supermodels, it really was the era of the big dogs on YouTube. they were the ones that got all the opportunity, all the PR, all the collabs. They were probably the only ones who could make a living out of this. And that's not the way it is anymore. It's so much more diversified. We just have spread the influence a little bit thinner amongst more people, which honestly, I think is great. Because there is no way in 2016, 17, 18 even, when like collabs were becoming a little bit more mainstream. Carly Bible did one with BH Cosmetics, Jaclyn Hill did with Becca and then with Morphe, Manny did one with Makeup Geek. Like, there is just no way in hell that anyone would have given someone my size or someone like my friend Heather Austin. She's done 2 amazing palettes. There's just no way that someone our size would have been given an opportunity to do something like that. And I really appreciate the way that the industry really just have evolved in a way that you don't have to become in the millions to be able to get opportunities and to be able to do something fun with your time in the beauty community. If you are just a good YouTuber, a nice friend, a decent human being, if your viewers like you, and if brands thinks that you are showcasing, I'm not saying you should suck up to brands, but it is a little bit like if brands think that you are showcasing their products in a way that like they like it, if they think you're good at makeup, if they think that you're doing, I don't know, swatches or tutorials that like showcase their brand in a good way, you can get opportunities too. Even if you are at 100,000 or less than 100,000, because brands see a potential in you anyways, because you don't have to be in the millions to be able to do good makeup. And also, and this is something I talked about with my friend the other day, who's also having an upcoming collab. I'm not gonna say, but like, oh, I'm so happy for my friend. Being good at doing makeup doesn't mean that you're good at creating innovative makeup products or makeup like color schemes. And being a good salesperson on YouTube, which a lot of YouTubers, they're just really good salespeople. I mean, that's what we always said about Jaclyn Hill, right? Like, oh, she could sell me anything. But being good at that doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at doing color stories, although I will say maybe she's the exception though, because she obviously had some really successful palettes with Morphe and also a super successful collab with Becca. But there is a lot of times that I see people doing collabs and it's not necessarily an innovative color story. It's not an innovative theming, which, I mean, it doesn't need to be. But the only reason anyone would buy that palette is because they are a supporter to that person, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just thinking there are some people that are just really good at color stories. Just the Jackie Aina and Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, like that was a really good color story. Like it was so fun, and I thought I didn't want it, but then when I bought it, it is a really good color story. But not everyone is able to do that, and I'm so excited now that brands are realizing that just because you are a super popular YouTuber doesn't mean that you're going to be making a successful collab product. That's not necessarily like what makes that. I don't know what possessed me to do pink today, but I was feeling pink. Maybe I should have used the pink lip gloss. My light over here, can you see the blinking? Is it on screen? It is. Am I haunted? But yeah, there are definitely opportunities now if you are a smaller YouTuber to make this a career. I mean, are you gonna get rich? Maybe not. Most probably not, speaking from experience. But you'll be able to pay your bills. This could be a job. So it turns social media and it turns YouTube more into like an actual job, where if you are good at being a online personality, or if you're really good at makeup, or if you're really, I mean, a really good sales person, because there are a lot of people out there that make the bulk of their money through like sales, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their different way of like running their channel. But I'm just saying that there is an opportunity to make this a career without you having to strike gold first and become viral or become in the millions. Like, you don't have to have a 1 million subscriber channel to be able to pay your rent. And that's the part where I'm like, because people are always like, is it too late to start a YouTube channel? And I would say no. This really is the time when you could actually make YouTube an extra income, or even like a job to pay your bills, if you're just a little smart about it, a little determined about it, if that is what you want. But also, like, is it too late to start YouTube? I mean, if you're just doing it because you love makeup and because you want to have fun with makeup, then it's never too late. Because that is still here. That is still what we're all just doing on this platform. And there's definitely still a market for long form content. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of short form content. I know some people love it and they love like consuming it. I just don't. I just really want to commit to like a longer video and watch that. But I also realized that in the grand scheme of things, I'm a little bit in the minority because short form content is getting so many views. But it's also because getting someone to watch your 5-second clip is not as hard as getting someone to watch your 25+ minute video. That's a little harder, especially when people watch to the end. I mean, that means something. Getting someone to watch your 5-second clip video twice even, it's not as hard to convince someone to put 5 or 10 seconds of their life doing something that revolves around you, but 25 minutes, that's an achievement. Just trying to smoke up my lower lash line a little bit too. Do you feel more pressure on your content as your channel has grown? Yes, not monetarily. I don't feel like any more pressure about that. Like, I don't think like money-wise, more like critique-wise. Like I told you, people they feel very entitled in telling you exactly what's on your mind when you have more subscribers versus when you have less subscribers. Because everybody is rooting for an underdog, but then they think that you have like become this other kind of a person or a worse person when you get even the slightest sliver of success online, which is like, I don't know really what to do with that, because my moral compass has not changed, and the way that I accept criticism definitely hasn't changed during the time that I've been on YouTube. I don't really care when people say that like I'm ugly or anything like that. It does bother me when people say I'm lying, because that's one thing that I don't like, because I am a very, very like honest person. I even have honest in Swedish tattooed on my arm. And I really don't like when people either tell me, no, this was really your intent. Oh my God, I hate that. It's like, were you there? Were you there? People like to believe that they know you even more than they do. And yeah, sometimes people can be very extrapolating in the way that they think the situation really played out, when in fact they weren't there and they don't really know. But that's to be expected, I guess. But yeah, definitely puts a little bit more pressure on, like, because there's a lot of times when I edit like really chatty videos like this one, I'm probably gonna be rolling my eyes during several times during this video, being like, why did you say that? Stop oversharing, or stop saying those things, you know people are gonna misconstrue them. And like, yeah, those kind of things, definitely more pressure than it was when I started out, because I really didn't even realize that people would be as mean as they actually are online for like the stupidest reasons. Because when I was a model, yeah, definitely people are like, you're so ugly, I can't believe you're a model, which is like, well, at least they're critiquing what it's all about. But like reviewing makeup online, they will critique you on the weirdest things, and it's like, this video isn't even about that. And they really do be thinking that this is like a Netflix show where they get to like pick your own adventure and just tell me how they want my character to develop. So sometimes it is a little frustrating. So there's definitely some more pressure about that as time progressed. But also like, it makes sense why some people become like very anxious, and why some people become like, they start hating social media along with their own social media, because some people out there are like really mean and really honestly stressful. Like, I have friends that tell me that, like, oh, there are people that, like, literally DM me several times a day, and it's like, some of y'all are a little stressful, okay? How have you changed since posting your first video? Oh boy, it's been 8 years. A lot. I would say a lot. Did I have a plan with this? Did I have a plan with this? Oh my god, I just put that on and I don't know what I'm doing. Wait, need a brush. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so when I started posting, like I said before in the video, wait, this just dry down like that. Okay. When I started posting, like I mentioned before, I was married to another man, not the man that I'm married to now. And we lived together, and I mean, I had other friends. I lived in another apartment. I mean, I've moved. I've also had some losses in my family. I mean, I got divorced during the time that I was on YouTube. I got a question about that, by the way. Maybe I should find it. And I found my new husband, and we got married. My dad died during the time that I was on YouTube, and I worked through my grief because I really didn't know how to deal with it. My grandmother passed as well during the time I was on YouTube, and she was a very big part of growing up for me and for making me the patient, accepting person that I am today. This is turning out horrible. Hold. These are so much more opaque than I thought they were gonna be. I thought they were gonna be like a little splotch of glitter, but they were like a little bit more full on than I thought they were gonna be. I don't know how I feel about that. It is what it is, I guess. This is where we're at. I use the glimmer shadows by LH Cosmetics. I mean, they look beautiful, but I thought they were gonna be a little bit more of a topper. They're not a topper, okay? Now we all know that. We all know that these are not topper shades. This is a sparkle. We're not doing a sparkle. Hold. I think that it's very fascinating because I do get that sometimes that like, oh, you changed. And it's like, yeah, it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years. I started YouTube when I was 31, and I was in a not perfect relationship, not perfect marriage, living in a town where I wasn't super excited but with. I didn't really have any friends. The friends I had were, let's be honest, kind of mean to me. And yeah, I've definitely changed for the better. The older you get, the more confident, at least me, the older I get, the more confident I feel like I get. And my life has just taken a turn for the better. That's like literally all I can say about that. I like my life so much more now than I did back then. Of course, the people I lost, I miss them and I wish I could talk to them again, but like that's not like really part of the point. I feel like sometimes people say that you are less relatable when you are not, when you're in a better place in your life. Because I definitely was struggling even more with mental health back then. And even though I still do that now, it is not the way that it was then. And yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, definitely I've changed. And when people say you have changed as something negative, I don't understand how you're supposed to not change during 8 years. My core values definitely have not changed. Who I like really am as a person, that hasn't changed. Did I have a new mascara that I'm trying out? Or maybe I'll just grab a favorite. But yeah, definitely. Have I changed? Yeah, for sure. Ever had any beef with another YouTuber? No names. Not a beef per se, but I've definitely unfollowed and unsubscribed to some people that I've heard what they have said about me to others behind the scenes. Like they are fake nice to me and then they're talking crap about me to other YouTubers or to brands even. And I've definitely unfollowed a couple of people that have been like I said, just because someone is a smaller channel doesn't mean that they're all genuine and not hoping to make a lot of money. And I've even like noticed some smaller channel. They've told me stuff about finances behind the scenes, and then what they're telling their subscribers is something totally different. And then you're like, huh, okay, I see what we're doing here. And then, like I said, if people like talk shit about me behind my back and then pretend to be nice to me, I just cut them out of my life. I do not have time for that. If I wanted that in my life, I can just go visit my high school bullies again. Like, I have no patience for that. How did you improve your channel? How did you get more subs and not get burnt out? I appreciate you. Not get burnt out is hard. I think the main thing is to, and I'm notoriously bad at this, is to remember to take breaks. And I keep telling myself that all the time. It's of course easier to not get burned out if you really love what you're doing, but sometimes you have to force yourself to take breaks, and it doesn't come naturally for everyone. I love being busy. I love working. Me and my husband were even talking about that the other day. We're like, what are we supposed to do when we retire? Like, we need to have something for then as well, because there's no way that we can just sit around doing nothing or like reading, or like, I need something to do. But it is definitely hard to not burn out if it's something that you really don't enjoy. And if you don't, then maybe I would suggest something else. Honestly, there are so many other fun things that you could be doing out there. Improve my channel. Oh my god, I feel like I have a fuzzy here, so I'm itching, but like, it's itching. I did do a YouTube boot camp a couple of years back. I think it was in 2020 even, actually, because I had a trip that got cancelled. I was gonna go to a Samantha March launch party for Ofra, and well, the world shut down. So I took that money and I invested it in a boot camp for improving my channel. And she really gave me some harsh truths about my channel. Basically, like, your titles suck, your thumbnails suck, you ramble in your videos, your intros are too long, and also like a lot of things that made me think like, you're right, I'm making videos excluding new subscribers because I'm like not making them feel included. I'm like, also with so many things that she helped me with. And sometimes, and this is gonna be something that's not easy for a lot of people to hear, sometimes you need someone to tell you how you suck so that you can actually improve it. But a lot of people are not open for that kind of criticism. So I will say, it can be hard for some people to improve on their channel because they're not open to that kind of criticism. And also, if you're the kind of person that's like, no, but I like doing it this way, then that is perfectly fine. But we also have to, and that's the way, like sometimes for me, I will post videos where I'm like, I know this isn't gonna get views, but it was fun. It was a fun video and I enjoyed myself. And that's also like, if you enjoy doing your channel the way you're doing it now, but it's not getting views, then by all means continue. Just accept that you're not gonna grow. But if you do wanna grow and you wanna reach more people and have a bigger audience, because like there was someone who was asking me, I wonder if I can find it, was like asking me if I would ever want to be one of those big YouTubers. Can I find it? I can't find it, but it was something along the lines of like, would you ever want to be one of those super big channels with like 5 million subscribers? And no, because I don't know if I would be willing to open myself to that kind of scrutiny and the way that people are, like I said, incredibly mean and judgy towards you the bigger you get. And I don't know if I'm like open for that, honestly. I don't know if I want that in my life. But sometimes if we have like 5,000 subscribers, we might be like, I'm ready for 10,000. Like, I'm ready to reach more people. I'm ready to make more friends, get more contacts and like stuff like that. And if you're feeling like that, then I definitely think that you should be asking yourself, am I open to harsh criticism? Because sometimes the reason why we're not growing is not because we're unlucky. It's because we're doing something wrong. I'm gonna put some falsies on, but I thought that these questions were really nice, so I'd want to answer them as well. I'm putting on these Juvia's Place ones. I'm just gonna take the old glue off and put some new glue on. This one is binging old videos. How did you manage YouTube through your divorce without showing/falling apart? Sorry if it's too personal. You seemed so strong during that time. For me, YouTube is my me time. This is what I do for me. Like, I love playing with makeup. I love having fun. Like, doing this look today has been so much fun. So for me, it was a way of escaping what was going on around me, because it was really chaotic and I didn't really know where I was gonna go. I didn't really have somewhere in the beginning to live. I, at that time, was working in a different town. So I actually moved my stuff there and I filmed from that town with the sequin background so that nobody would notice that I moved, because like it was chaotic. It was really chaotic. But it was my escape, and I also wasn't ready to talk about my divorce at all, and I also really needed to be on good terms with my now ex-husband, because I wanted the divorce to go through as quickly as possible. So I really didn't want to talk about it at all online either. So I just wanted to get it done and out of my life from the moment. Well, this also probably helped. I'm trying to get the glue off. I was the one that wanted to get divorced. I told my now ex-husband let me get glue. I told him in April that I wanted to get a divorce. And he was like, no. Literally, he was like, no, we're not doing that. And I told him, okay, well, I still do. And he said, let's think about it during the summer. And I didn't need any thinking, but like, okay. So I basically just spent time a little with him, but mostly honestly away from him, because again, I was so sure that I wanted the divorce. But after the summer was done, I think in August, he was like, you're right, we should get a divorce. This isn't working out. And I was like, told you. And we officially got divorced in December. That's when our papers went through. And by then I had already moved away and like moved on and like all of that. So, and I feel like for me, I already felt like I was moving on in April. So I think the hard part for me was probably the spring leading up to this. It was not even the time when the divorce was actually happening, because like I was so sure of what I wanted. So it was like, coming to YouTube was just me doing something fun for me. I think it was harder when my dad passed away, because I was really sad. Someday I would like to talk about, because I feel like there's a lot of things that happened on my dad's side of the family that probably would resonate with a lot of you, and I would like to talk about it, because I really lost touch with my dad, and I grew up around a lot of addiction on that side of the family. And I remember that, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Remember when he passed away, that someone asked me, why are you so sad about losing someone that you're not even seeing anymore? And I said, I'm not sad that the person that he is now is gone. I'm sad that there's never a chance for the person that he was for coming back. And that's what I felt I lost. The chance of old him coming back. Okay, I saw 2 more questions that I thought I'd answer, and then we can just wrap this 8-year anniversary video up. And one of them is, how do you act enthusiastic all the time on screen? I don't. I literally wish that I was better at just being, because my persona isn't necessarily the kind of persona people love. Those super enthusiastic, like, hi sisters, you know, those are the ones that get a lot of views. People love that, and I am not that kind of a person. Although I will say, throughout my entire growing up, I was always told that I was too energetic, too hyper, too much. I was too much, and people didn't like that. So I think that, like, this is just the way that I am. But I also have a lot of videos where I'm like a little bit more chill, because like, we're not enthusiastic all the time. Like, we all have our ups and downs, and I am just the mood that I am when I'm filming, I'm gonna be honest. And I wish I was better at acting, because there are definitely other types of personas that would have been more successful online. Let's just say that. There was a lot of questions asking me, where do you see yourself in X amount of years? And also this one that says, do you think YouTube will still be around in 5 years? Yes, definitely. I think there's always going to be a space for long form content. Are people going to be interested in exactly the kind of content that I do in 5 years? That I can't tell you. Things come and go. And I mean, we all know that, like, the beauty community on YouTube isn't as popular as it was when I started in 2015. I think that 16 and 17 was definitely the boom, and had I know what I know now, maybe I would have gone for it a little bit more during that time, definitely, because back then, like, my views now, like, I almost had equally as much views when I had half the amount of subscribers, because like you could literally post anything and people would watch anything on YouTube about makeup because the community was so booming. And now it's definitely not that. People are a little bit more cautious on what they click on and what they give their time to, which is good, like you should be. Don't click on things you don't want to watch. Don't hate watch creators. Give your time to things that you think is actually going to give you something, or at least entertain you. But I definitely think there will still be YouTube in 5 years. I don't think that short form content will make long form content obsolete. I think that it's just a new form of content, and that is what's really buzzing right now, because literally people can put up anything on TikTok and get hundreds of thousands of views, but that also will change with time when something else becomes that new exciting thing, like the beauty community was in 2016 and like TikTok was since 2020. Things come and go in cycles, and do I think that long form content is going to be the next thing? That I can't tell. There's probably going to be something else, but I think that we are at a time now when some people have just realized that, yeah, TikTok was fun, but long form content is for me. And equally, some people were like, yeah, YouTube used to be my stuff, but now I prefer short form content. Like, I think we have more options to choose from right now. Remember back in the days when all we had were blogs, and then all of a sudden we had Instagram and YouTube, and now we have TikTok. Like, there's so many different kinds of avenues, and it's only natural that the new thing is going to be the most popular thing until something else comes along. Honestly, I don't mind short form content, but it's definitely not what I love. Will I be doing YouTube in 5 years? I hope so. I really do hope so. In what form, how much, that I don't know. Just like I told you that things come and go in waves. Do I think I will be uploading 5-6 videos a week in 5 years? Maybe not. Honestly, who knows? I have no idea. Never say never. I didn't even think I'd be doing YouTube for 8 years, but here we are, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. All I can say, and that is something that I told my friend Samantha March, we just realized that we've known each other for 6 years. Is that not crazy? I told her I am so hopeful for the future, and she's told me back, because we were talking to Marco Polo, you have no idea how happy it makes me to hear someone, let alone you, say that they're hopeful for the future, because I feel like sometimes all we see is negativity. But I really am. I am hopeful and I'm excited about the future, and there are so many fun things ahead. I have so many fun things to show you just this fall. Just you wait and see. I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you tomorrow in new makeup releases, and bye!